Premium quality football shirts at an extremely affordable price. Sound good? If so, check out the sponsor of today's video, jerseyfifa.com. You can see that I've sent you some shirts and they really are top quality, so make sure to click the link in the description to go find a shirt for yourself or perhaps as a gift for someone else. And you can now use code jerseyfifa at checkout for 10% off your order. That's code jerseyfifa at checkout for 10% off your order. I really do recommend their product, so go take a look. Now let's get into the analysis. So as we come to the end of the first full week in July, plenty of teams are still buzzing about to try and get some transfers complete as quick as possible. Although one team that has already got a lot of their business done is Antonio Conte's Tottenham. The most recent signing that looks extremely likely to happen is Longi moving from Barcelona to Spurs. And actually by the time this video is uploaded, there is a very good chance that the whole move will have already been completed. If this is the case, then I think it's pretty fair to assume that Spurs will continue in their back three formation, meaning that Longi will be joining Dyer and Romero at centre back, and personally I quite like the look of that as a defensive trio. One thing that Longi in particular really brings to a team is ball carrying ability, something that might sound obvious when you sign a player from Barcelona, but I actually think it has become a slightly underappreciated side of his game. As well as bringing an element of safety to a team in possession, Longi can also contribute further and actually progress the ball, whether that's playing in between the lines or switching the play with a long pass out to the Spurs right wing back. Personally, I think this is extremely important for Spurs because at times last season they did struggle against some of the slightly more defensive teams, so this ability to pick a pass either with a switch or an incisive pass could be important. As well as progressing the ball with his passing, Longi is actually a pretty impressive ball carrier as well, and again I think this goes under the radar a little bit, but he is more than happy to pick the ball up before then really stepping forward into the midfield. This is backed up when we look at his FB ref report and we can see that he ranks extremely well for both progressive passes and progressive carries, which makes him almost perfect to play on the left hand side of the Spurs 3 centre back system. Something else you may have noticed there is that Longi ranks in the 85th percentile for pressures, and when you consider that he is playing in a team that really dominates the ball, it highlights just how much he looks to defend on the front foot and get in the opponent's face. Again, that is exactly what is needed when playing in a back three, and actually he looks perfect for the role. My only concern would be his ability to defend in slightly wider areas, and I do just fear a little bit that he may become too exposed. Fortunately, Longi will have cover thanks to the extra man at the back, so overall I think that this is a good move, especially in a loan deal. There is almost nothing for Spurs to lose, and I think there is a lot that they can gain when this deal happens. Another player that Spurs have bought to play in on the left hand side is Perisic. Now this is one of the bits of business that they've done slightly earlier on in the window, but I still want to take the time to discuss how he is going to benefit this Spurs team. First, before I break down Perisic tactically and technically, I just quickly want to say that this really does feel like a Conte signing. Under a different manager this may not be a great move, but with Conte in charge, this really could work out quite nicely. So if Perisic is going to be a starter for Spurs, then it will be in that left wing back role, and we can see in his heat map from last season that this is a position and role that he is very familiar with, and it really suits him in this latter stage of his career. One of the reasons that this role suits Perisic so much is simply because he is such a competitive and hard-working player, making him the perfect person to come into the team and be given the freedom to bomb up and down the left hand side. Looking at this move, a lot of people will probably point to what Perisic has to offer to the attack, but importantly he will be more than happy to do the defensive work for the team as well, and he's more than willing to get stuck in with tackles to win the ball back. This reasonably good defensive ability will be crucial in this wing back role, but Perisic didn't actually always look to play in this way, and in his earlier days he was much more of an attack minded player, regularly starting on the wing. Now whilst Perisic has moved further towards his own goal as his career has progressed, he still has a lot of those brilliant winger traits, making him an excellent ball carrier, something that we know Conte demands from his two wing backs. As well as having this ability to really drive forward to progress the play for his side, Perisic will also bring a real element of creativity to the Spurs team in and around the final third, and again that really comes from his days as a winger. I think in particular we can expect to see Perisic swinging a lot of crosses into the box. This has always been one of his major strengths, but what impresses me the most is how dangerous his crosses are even when he is under pressure. Perisic's attacking productivity in the final third can be seen when we look at his stats from last season, when he managed to grab 10 goals and 9 assists in all competitions. Now that would be good for a winger. For a wing back it's genuinely brilliant. On top of all of his technical attributes on the ball, Perisic is a player that will come into the team and bring a real level of experience. He's seen it all in football, and I think that is something that the Spurs team has lacked in the past. With all of those things taken into consideration, I do think that this is a brilliant signing. Will he be at Spurs for the next 4 or 5 years? Probably not, but if Spurs are looking for quick success under Conte, then Perisic is perfect for the job. Another player that will help bring instant success, but perhaps also future success as well, is Bissouma. And for me, this is one of my favourite transfers of the window so far, so let's quickly break down what he will bring to the Spurs team next year. So the first major strength of Bissouma is his ball winning ability, and anyone that has ever watched him will say the exact same thing. Even if you just watch him for 10 minutes or so, I'm sure you'll quickly see him winning the ball back a few times for his side. This is perfect for Conte's system because we know that they like to sit in this mid-block before winning the ball back in the centre, and Bissouma should be ideal to pounce in the centre before then starting the lethal counter-attack. Having won the ball back for his side in this mid-block shape, Bissouma will also bring a fair amount of quality on the ball as well. And again, anyone that has watched him play will know that he is more than happy to get the ball before then looking to really stride forward. This really does make Bissouma perfectly suited to Conte's side. I'm very confident that Spurs will often sit in that mid-block, and there aren't many players in the Premier League that are better at winning the ball back before then looking to stride forward. Bissouma's ball winning ability also looks impressive in the stats as well, and that grey line down the middle is the Premier League average, so we can see that Bissouma is above average in a lot of different areas from a defensive point of view. As I was saying earlier, the important thing is that Bissouma contributes on the ball as well, and whilst he isn't going to cut a team open with an incisive pass, he is still extremely reliable in possession, and almost never loses the ball. For those reasons, I am extremely confident that Bissouma will come straight into the first team. The question is who will be his midfield partner, and if I'm being honest, right now I don't really have the answer to that question, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Ultimately, I don't think it really matters too much because for me, Bissouma will be the star of the Spurs midfield next season. And yet again, as with every move we've looked at so far, I do think that this is another bit of brilliant business from Spurs. Finally, the other major signing that Spurs have made so far this transfer window was the signing of Richarlison from Everton. So again, I'm going to break down some of his strengths and then take a look at his potential role in the team next season. So the first thing I want to do is look at Richarlison's FB ref report and apply some context, because people will be concerned at his lack of attacking numbers, but it's important to remember that he played in a really poor Everton team last year. Whilst Everton's form has been well below par over the past year or so, it has helped Richarlison in some ways, and he is now certainly more than aware of his defensive job that he has to do for the team, and maybe at times he even takes it too far. To be honest, I think Conte might like that little bit of fire in Richarlison, because again it is something that Spurs have lacked a little in the past, but I think this combined with his brilliant versatility makes Richarlison quite a smart signing. Another reason Spurs will have signed Richarlison is for what he does on the ball, and having spent a lot of time as a left winger in the past, he is more than capable with his dribbling, often showing rather impressive quick feet to get past the defender. Again, this dribbling and ball carrying ability could make Richarlison perfectly suited for this brilliant counter-attacking Tottenham team, and in particular in the big games I could see Richarlison carrying quite a big threat on the transition. Something else that Richarlison should bring is goal scoring ability. Yes, his numbers were low for most of last season, but again he was playing for an Everton team battling relegation, so I do think that it is a little bit harsh to judge him too much. Now if we actually look at those numbers we can see that he scored 11 goals, which I don't think is too bad a return, but as I was saying that number should go up if he gets regular game time under Conte, because he usually hits his expected goals. Overall, I think this is a good signing, not quite to the extent of the other signings because I don't think he really improves the starting 11. However, he does improve the squad depth, which is hugely important, so overall it is a good move. For me, the best thing about all of these signings is that they are clearly players that Conte wants, because they fit into his system almost perfectly, so I'm really excited to see how Spurs are going to set up as we head towards the start of the new season. And actually, I'll do a video on the team tactics in a couple of weeks, so make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that video, and who knows, maybe by then Spurs may have done even more business with more signings, but we'll have to wait and see. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.